People, and I got another treat for you today. This is footage from the Art New Stall hangout I did earlier today while I was driving the truck. And you're gonna see me, your boy truly, yours truly, City of Truth 91, basically taking on a panel of niggas and winning. When it comes to reparations. These guys had it all completely wrong. They had their data completely wrong. For a minute, my audio cut out and I had to come back in. But once I came back in, I completely wiped the floor with these niggas, and none of them had any retort or anything to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
Let me ask something. How many bales of cotton did Martin Luther King pick? How many bales of cotton did the Black Panthers pick? How many bales of cotton were picked during redlining? How many bales of cotton were picked during Black Wall Street and when that got burned to the ground? So you're telling me that reparations is only based on cotton being picked?
Before we answer that,
well, you
shout
gotta
out
look
to
at
Man Tomorrow for sharing it live. But go ahead.
Yeah, you gotta look at reparations. I mean, what I was gonna say is that reparations. Everybody talks about reparations for the black community, but what I have yet to see any of them do is provide any empirical study or any empirical data on reparations. They just say that, well, the Chinese or the Japanese got it, the Jews got it.
But you kind of shot yourself in the foot when you just said that.
HR 40. You know you shot yourself in the foot when you said HR 40 is not a study, though. HR 40
is trying to put forth a study, brother.
But we can go even better than that.
Okay, but like I said,
well, hold on, fam. Let me address what you just said.
Because there are groups that, first of all, they don't have to wait for a study. There are groups that they can already look at. Look at the Aboriginals in Australia. They actually get reparations. Hold on, let me finish. They actually get reparations. They've been getting it for a number of years. I think even a couple of decades. They don't even have to pay car notes and stuff over there. And the vast majority, many of them, are still in abject poverty, and despite of the reparations payments. So nobody ever wants to bring up that data, though.
But here's the thing that you're not understanding. Is there any kind of information about them doing a study on Japanese getting reparations?
Exactly. And see how quiet everyone is?
Why do we need it?
See how quiet they are?
No, but
he was asking you the question.
I'm asking you. Is there? Did before the Japanese got their reparations, what have you? Was there some kind of case study on them?
Well,
come on now.
As far as I know, no. But what I do know is
so why do we have to do it? Why do we have to have a case study?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a legitimate question.
Oh, come on.
They already know what we should be fucking getting.
I mean, it's a legitimate question. No, my thing is this. My thing is this.
Hold on a second, man. Hold on a second, bro.
If you're gonna argue in favor of the case study, then what someone could say is that the case study, if they do create one, will at least provide something in writing that they can then go on, that they can then build policy around, because it's in writing. You know, governments and courts, they go by what's in writing. They don't go by what people say or anecdote or what happened in the past. They go by, hey, this is an official study done by, this whatever Senate committee or whatever, and this is what they found, and these are the findings.
And the Muse on the book, right? In the books, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, it's on the books. It's on the books.
It was never given. It was never given.
Theoretically, a study could fortify.
You do realize the government is supposed to do that as well, right? They owe the debt. They're supposed to do it as well. It's not just supposed to be black people go to the government and say, here's how much money you owe us. The government knows better than anybody how much money they owe.
The UN has done a study too. As well as someone pointed out in the chat, Sandy Darity, who's an economist, has done one.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out your position, man, because you're saying exactly, but that whole case study thing is
Yeah, I'm trying to
like a
understand the
biased
reason
thing.
why. I don't understand why you threw that monkey wrench in there. What was that for? What was that whole thing about the other case for reparations? What was your whole point of that? Why did you bring that up? What that had to do with
wait, hold on, brother.
slavery?
I'm driving through the mountains right now. Your whole sentence cut out.
Oh, okay.
Can you repeat that? Just
We're trying to figure out your position.
Quick version.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what was your reasoning for bringing up the other case for reparations of another group? What was your whole point of that? And how would that be basically an argument against the redress that African Americans or ADOS have in this particular country? What's the logic of that?
Okay, so as far as okay, so what happened was with I believe it was the Japanese internment. When they got their reparations,
how long were they internment camps? How long were they in internment camps?
It was the duration of World War II.
And
so,
how long were we enslaved? How long were we in slavery?
Okay, hold on, sir. You gotta let me answer the question.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You can't. So when the Japanese got their reparations, I do specifically know that there was a court case. I don't know if it was a state court or the Supreme Court or federal, whoever it was, but there was a court ruling where a court looked at they looked at the evidence, they looked at all the financial records of all the property that had been taken from the Japanese, the frozen bank accounts and all that stuff at World War II, and it was the court that looked at that data, and they determined to give out the reparations and how much money was going to be given and which individuals was going to be given. Because I believe with the Japanese reparations, I believe it was only given to the survivors, the actual survivors that had been in those internment camps. So the people who in the 40s in World War II who were kids and were in those internment camps, well, when they, when they grew up and they had that court case, and I believe they had that court case, was it in the 70s or the 80s, where the Japanese got their reparations? I think it was the 80s.
I think it was Reagan who did it too.
Yeah, Reagan. Yeah,
how long
absolutely.
were they in internment?
I believe it was the 80s. And so what happened was, they got the reparations only because they had been children and they had actually been in those camps themselves. They didn't just give the reparations to the families. They actually gave it to the actual, I believe, actual
like
people.
Peterson, bro.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you. How many years though were they? Wait, hold on. Just a second. How long were they in internment camps?
Well, how is that relevant?
Well, just answer my question. I'm going somewhere. If you let me finish, if you answer the question so I can go somewhere with it, you'll see how it's relevant. You cut me off and you're redirecting.
Do you
it's a simple
not
question.
know?
No.
I mean, first
it's
of all,
a simple
I make
question.
sure.
How many years were they in an internment camp? How many years?
All right, hold on. What am I speaking? Like, what's your screen name?
5? 4. Let's just go.
What's your screen name?
How long? No, because he's redirecting, and you've been doing that the whole time. He's redirecting the whole time. You tell me this. How long? Anybody. How long were the Japanese in
was like
23 years.
1942 to
45 years.
1940. It was 1942 to 1946.
Okay, so 4 years. So 4 years, right? Okay. Now, how much did them being in an internment camp contribute to the building of this country? What contribution did it make to the building of this country?
And not just that, 250 years, it's generations of families being born into slavery. Pick up the Atlantic slave coast.
Nobody wants to answer the... Okay, but
pick up the Atlantic slave coast, City. That's what you need to do, brother. Read that book, and then if you can come back with that knowledge in your head and come back and talk to us and actually say that same thing, I just don't see it, man. I just think that some of you guys just not informed. You guys are not informed, brother.
He doesn't need to read a book. He has his own fucking opinion. It ain't about reading a book. It ain't about reality.
Let me cut this off in the please. Let me just make this one point before we even go anywhere with this. With regards to reparations, at the end of the day, it was a system that was government policy. And why on earth if we don't have a government there that's meant to address legal claims with regards to what's owed, did the government turn around in the instant that was done for emancipation, that the slave owners got reparations and compensation for what they lost, but black people haven't yet? That ends the conversation.
Let me throw the bomb in the room real quickly, because he was talking about
now
only
all of that information can be incorporated into the state so that you then have documentation to work on when you take it to court.
Just get more informed, brother.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to read here. I'm up here trying to. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Are you trying to share your screen?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm over because I'm using my phone.
Oh.
Anyhow, I'll get back to it. But the thing, I'm going to read this real quickly because he was talking about how only the Japanese that were in it. It says California defined anyone with 1/16 of more Japanese lineage as suffered to be in turn lineage. It says Colonel Carl, what's his name? Bernstein, the architect behind the program, went so as far as saying anyone with 1 drop of Japanese blood qualifies.
Okay, they qualified, but who actually got the money, though? Can you read that part?
I tried, man.
Can you read that part?
I'm saying slave owners still got reparations with black folks. I don't even know why we even had to bring up the Japanese.
Japanese people got the money. That's who got it. Japanese people got it.
They didn't contribute shit, and we got nothing. Jews didn't even get attacked over here, and they got reparations for it. Like, I mean, just the intellectual dishonesty is just not even ethical at this point.
I don't think it's dishonesty. They don't know, man. It's not even dishonesty. They don't know.
Yeah, they're not informed.
They're not informed. They don't know, man.
Well, but BGS, the problem is that they're not even trying to know. That's where the dishonesty comes in, as if they're even trying to know. He's not trying to know. So he's trying to bend reality around what he wants it to be.
I'm simply asking him for specific information within the article, and
it doesn't matter their names of who got it. Japanese
so
people
now
got
you're
it, man.
getting emotional. Now you're getting emotional.
Hold on, panel. Do y'all see what he just did? Hold on, panel. Do you see what he just tried? I want to tell this to y'all because I'm going to mute myself. I ain't going to speak no more. I want to tell this to y'all though. A person like that, somebody like that, he's wasting your time.
Wasting
your time, and he might be doing it on purpose.
Waste of time. Basically, that's not something they have in prerequisites to get in certain classes, and especially in college and even high school. You have to have a certain baseline of knowledge to be in a discussion. Okay. When it comes to this kind of stuff,
reading an article is a waste of
so you have to have a certain baseline of knowledge to even understand the article, sir.
Okay.
Baseline of knowledge. What does qualify means? If you qualify, you're part of
and I asked him, you said baseline of knowledge, and I asked him to further read and give me a detail in that article, and he refused.
They told you who got it. If you had 1/16 of Japanese blood,
yeah, he said qualified. He didn't say
you get the money, sir. That means you get the money.
He said qualified.
Yeah, what does qualified mean?
But who ultimately got it?
In other words,
let me
ask you a question.
You know what? I'm about to look this stuff up myself.
Let me ask you a question.
And if I prove y'all wrong,
let me ask you a question.
If I prove y'all wrong,
let me ask you a question. If you go to the welfare office or the unemployment office or wherever you go to get whatever monies you get, food stamps, whatever. If they say you qualify, what does that mean? That means you get the money. If you qualify for a loan. That means you get the loan. You get a car.
I guess you would know that, right, BGS?
So let's flip it then. Let's flip it. So
just tell me I qualify then. Just tell me I qualify for reparations.
Let's flip it. So if I qualify, how much sense would that make for me not to collect? I'm waiting.
I mean, if you're a conservative and you don't believe in handouts.
Oh, I just stay. Okay, yeah, that's true.
It's not a handout if it's owed to you.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not a handout if it's owed to you. That's called a debt.
That's true.
And that's what people don't refuse to admit. It's called a debt. Right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But it's anywhere.
I mean, why argue about something that's silly?
You
There's
know,
perfect information here.
interesting though. You see how I reformed the argument for him. He the one that brought up somebody being sued for rezoning.
Yeah.
Sue anybody. That's when I brought up the redress of the biggest crime that's ever been committed in this country, which is slavery. That's the
No, you should just be happy to be here.
No, but I'm saying the whole thing about what's coming forward to modern era. This is just an extension of basically trying to keep black people in the pocket. If this is not necessary, then you won't have all these laws for voter suppression, zoning, redlining, the loaning system, things of that nature. Even getting down to the credit system. All of this is just a way of basically keeping black people, specifically black males, in their pocket. And when you get other black males or black men to make excuses for this, it just becomes where we're infighting within ourselves. It's like, dude, you can't see that we're in the same predicament, regardless of whether you like it or not.
I got a question for you, but what about black on black crime? Rugged individualism.
Can I get in real quick?
Hold on, brothers. I got it. Hold on.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
All right. Hold up, Art.
No, you don't.
Hold up,
You don't have to respond.
I got a response to you about the reparations, man. I just looked it up on Google myself. And what it says is this. It says that the U.S. government, okay, they what they found is they ended up paying out reparations payments to Japanese Americans. They paid those payments out to 82,000 individuals who had actually been in those internment camps. They didn't give it to all Japanese. They gave it to 82,000 individuals.
Okay, can I respond to that? Do you know why they only gave it to 82,000 individuals? Because they were only in intern camps for 4 years, and they didn't help to build the country. That's why they gave it to
82,000 individuals.
Were they in our situation? They owe us more than they owe them.
Hold on.
Every single Japanese person in America.
We heard you. Now.
All right, so just like that, these niggas was defeated. All right, it's amazing what a little research can do. Art Newstall, and I like Art Newstall, so don't take this like I'm attacking him or trying to make him look bad. But he was making the argument that everyone that had 1/16 Japanese blood was going to get that money. But in fact, what the courts had ruled was that they gave the money to individuals who had actually been in those camps when they were kids. So by the time the 80s came around, these people were already grown adults, and some of them were up there in age. And so, how should I say it? The whole argument that Art Newstall made about reparations turned out to be wrong. And see, this goes into another thesis that I have. Is a lot of black Americans, they don't think correctly about reparations. They don't think think of reparations in correct terms. And it's about time somebody intellectually challenged that emotional narrative. But that's what I got to say on it. Let me know what y'all think. Leave comments, subscribe. Peace. Get the likes up.